I'm Taylor Gilbert,
I'm Sam Anderson.
and this is the Road Theater Company. In 1991, a group of very talented directors, designers, and actors came together to create the Road Theater Company. And we've been producing new works for almost 30 years, primarily West Coast, Los Angeles premieres.
I think the thing we're also excited about is the success that we've had with emerging as well as very well-known playwrights who feel very safe here with the most dangerous of their works because they know that we're going to take care of them as well as provide a great experience for our audience.
We like something that will make the audience walk away and think and have a conversation.
And our audiences have come to expect that, appreciate it, and even love it. That it's a great place to stay and have a conversation afterwards about what you saw. Disagreements abound frequently, which is great. It's exactly what we want. But what they get each time they come is a brand new experience that's as good as it gets.
We're a company of about 160 people. Talented actors, directors, designers, producers, all committed to this particular process of taking a new play with a playwright and shepherding it from the beginning through to a production, and hopefully to some life after that.
We all came together with the same mission of an ensemble. And what we found over the years is because of that, it draws the best, the cream of the crop. Our actors, it's an amazing pool of people, and it started right from the beginning.
Included in the makeup of our people are very young, talented actors who are right out of theater schools to very, very experienced actors who have tons of credits in all of the various media who just love to work here and want to do the kind of work that we do. The material is new and it's top-notch, and so are the writers. The directors we get are spectacular. The production values at the Road are very atypical of the smaller black box theaters in Los Angeles. And people who come here are continually surprised at how the space itself is transformed from show to show. Do you feel like you're walking into a different building every time you come to see something? We have a lot of designers, but our resident designers are the best in the city. And in fact, the LA Times has said that those values rival anything on the larger theaters anywhere. And we tend to agree.
I think what's unique about the Road is that we have consistently produced new works for over 29 years now and have garnered over 200 awards.
And one of the local critics, very aptly I think, called the theater one of LA's greatest living treasures for that very reason. And that we're very proud of and continue to try and live up to that standard.
The Road's mission has always been to create work that is what we consider to be politically and socially relevant. And therefore, we don't shy away from might be a contemporary show that's going to push a lot of buttons. We really want you to be here and listen to what's happening today, and hopefully that may help us change tomorrow.
We stay steadfastly committed to what is considered the most dangerous of theater missions, new work for the stage. And we hope that you take this journey with us. I'm Taylor Gilbert, founder and artistic director of the Road Theater Company.
And I'm Sam Anderson, artistic director of the Road Theater Company. We're here to welcome you to the Road's SPF 12 Week 3.
The largest playwrights festival of its kind in the country.
The Road's mission is new works, new voices in American theater.
And this past year, even new forms of presenting them.
That's right.
You remember where we were a year ago?
Boy, I sure do. In a pandemic, lockdown, and trying to figure out some way to move forward regardless.
So we took a big leap into the Zoom world and recorded 25 readings of new plays for SPF 11.
That's right, a truly virtual festival that ran on our website and our YouTube channel for 3 weeks.
Complete with talkbacks with writers, directors, and the cast.
And to our great surprise, the results were simply astonishing.
We reached over 18,000 viewers on 6 continents.
That's right, and thanks to their generosity, donations to the Road were historical.
We were able during this last year to further our mission by presenting 2 original works in a hybrid form.
That's right, staged live with actors and director, and filmed for broadcast on streaming services.
Wow, it has been a remarkable year.
It truly has. And now, we're back to SPF 12 to bring you more new works from around the world.
And once again, remember, if you like what we do, please donate.
That's right. As we begin to move back to live production and continue to do taped readings and hybrid productions, we need you now more than ever.
Please see as many of these great new works as you can.
Tell your friends.
And
from the both of us,
we would like to welcome you
to SPF 12 Week 3.
Hi, I'm Arthur Holden. Thanks for coming to this online reading of my new play, Beloved, presented by the Road Theater as part of its 12th annual Summer Playwrights Festival. The thing about a road is, it takes you places. The Road Theater has been taking audiences and artists to exciting new destinations for 30 years now. Please help the journey to continue. Give generously at roadtheater.org. The reading's about to begin. Please stick around for the talkback afterwards. As we say in Montreal, bon spectacle.
Beloved, a play in 3 waiting rooms by Arthur Holden. Characters: Dorothy Krieger, co-owner of a real estate company. Stephen Shaughnessy, married to Dorothy, co-owner of the same real estate company. Sylvia Mendez, guidance counselor, St. Albans School. Miriam Jacobs, psychiatrist, Montreal Children's Hospital. Marika Stavridis, a criminal prosecutor. Sylvia, Miriam, and Marika are played by a single performer. Setting: Montreal, the present. A wooden table, chairs around the table, a few additional chairs upstage, a door in the upstage wall. This setting will be successfully a waiting room in the principal's office of St. Albans School, a private educational institution, a waiting room in the psychiatric ward of the Montreal Children's Hospital, and a waiting room in Montreal's courthouse. Part 1, St. Albans School. March, 11:15 a.m. Dorothy is seated at the table. She's dressed in an elegant business outfit. An overcoat lies folded on her lap. She watches as Stephen paces downstage, talking into a cell phone.
No, Bernie, would you? No, I don't know where you got that number. He didn't say prime plus 2. He said prime plus a half. What? You think this is the kind of thing I would have heard wrong? I mean, it's pretty relevant to the. Yes, it was a formal offer. Dorothy was there. What did LaRoque say?
Do we really have to?
What did he say?
He said he'd try to come in under prime plus 3.
No, she didn't hear the whole conversation. No. Listen to me. LaRoque is the one you should be talking to about this. Well, then call him. Oh, yes, you can. They have cell reception at Mont Tremblant.
Even.
This isn't my problem, Bernie. No. See, you are laboring under a bit of misconception here. I have options. Well, it means I spoke to Farhar at TD. He's ready to give me prime plus 3/4.
Can we do this some other?
That's right.
Stephen,
Why do you think I spoke to Farha, Bernie?
would you?
Could it be because I had a feeling you guys might try this?
Stephen,
That you might attempt to apply exactly the same kind of pressure you're attempting to apply at this very moment?
Stephen.
Oh, Jesus. You know what, Bernie? This is not an ideal time. Put in a call to LaRoque. I'll be at the office later. Like, goddamn reptile. Prime plus 2. Who does he think he is?
Let's just drop it.
Well, do the math. 1.5 points. How much would that add up to? Dorothy,
What?
how much?
I
With things the way they are, he might as well just pull the plug.
oh, look.
The asshole.
Can we sit down and,
Oh,
what are you doing?
nothing. Prime plus 2. What a fucking. Do you think he'll get in touch with Farha?
No,
He might.
it hardly makes it.
No, but he might.
Why would he bother?
Due diligence.
Oh, that wouldn't be due diligence.
Same general concept.
Oh, not even close. Same general concept. The only reason for Bernie to get in touch with Farha would be that he believed you,
What?
which he didn't.
What are you talking about?
Oh, come on.
Tell me.
After all the times you slagged Faha and Bernie was sitting right there?
Slagged? That's a bit of a stretch. I grant you, I might have made 1 or 2 comments in private settings.
Stephen, this is me you're talking to. You've been denigrating Faha in a loud voice every time his name came up for the past decade.
Oh, whoa, no.
Oh, you
did not.
remember that Chamber of Commerce thing last fall?
Oh, okay, no.
Announcing to the whole table, including people you'd never met before, that Faha should be tested for Alzheimer's. You don't think that got back to him?
Everybody knew I was joking.
No one knew that you were joking because you weren't joking. You spent years, Stephen, saying vicious, petty, demeaning things about Faha every time you could get a word in edgewise. You couldn't possibly suppose that anyone with half a brain would believe Faha's offering you sweetheart deals. Bernie knew you were making that stuff up.
Whoa, you have no idea.
And if he didn't call you a liar flat out, I guess it means that despite everything, he wants to do the refinancing. So, yay.
Jesus.
Now, can we just please?
This is ridiculous. What are they doing?
She said a few minutes.
20 minutes is not a few.
I'm sure there's a reason.
What does that mean?
That means they're not just leaving us out here for kicks. They have a reason.
Such as?
I imagine we'll find out.
Whatever.
Ugh.
What is it with these people? They've forgotten we're here.
They haven't forgotten we're here.
Well, then what the fuck?
I don't. Would you please sit down?
No, I should knock.
No,
Just tap on the door.
not a good initiative.
But remind them that we're here.
They know we're here.
I mean, seriously, what the fuck?
What? Would you sit down?
I think I am entitled to knock on that door
Oh,
and
for the love of God, stop. Please. Just please.
The door opens. Sylvia Mendez emerges. Her clothes are presentable, if a little shabby. St. Albans doesn't pay its employees very well.
Sorry, it's taking a little longer than we just need to sort out a couple of Is everything okay out here?
Yes.
Well, since you're asking.
No, of course. Look, this is can you give me a minute? Literally just 1 minute. I just want to be sure that I have authorization before I
Authorization?
before we sit down and I'm sorry, just 1 minute.
Okay, but
I saw him.
what?
He's sitting in a chair in front of a desk. What's her name is sort of perched on the desk,
Miss Plessy.
bent over him almost.
How does he seem?
Well, he's crying, I think.
Crying?
I saw a glint on his cheek. It was, and then what's her name moved forward,
Let's see.
sort of a blocking motion, like she didn't want him to look out the door.
Were there any marks on him?
Marks?
Cuts, bruises, anything like that?
Well, I didn't.
Did you see him or not?
Yes, there were no marks. He was just crying.
But we knew he was all right.
Did we?
Well, that's what she said over the phone. She said he was all right, physically all right.
I guess.
You guess? You're the one who talked to her. What did she say?
That he was fine. No, not fine. Unhurt. Jesus, I wasn't taking notes. As soon as I said we'd be coming, she hung up. So what the fuck? It's been a minute.
Has it?
It has definitely been a minute.
Okay, it's been a minute.
1 minute. That's what the secretary said.
She's not a secretary.
Literally 1 minute.
Then I guess we better bump it up to 2. Stephen, don't.
He starts to walk toward the door.
You want to piss these people off before we even know why we're here? Is that how you'd like to approach this thing? Because I'll be honest with you, Stephen, that strikes me as suboptimal.
Stephen has reached the door. He raises his hand to knock.
And the person who suffers here isn't going to be you.
Suffers?
Yes, suffers. Okay? So just thank you.
Nope.
No, Stephen, don't.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Well, that was a terrific display of maturity, and I must say, it seems to have accomplished.
It's been a minute. It's been more than a minute.
Sorry. I'm sorry. We just need to. Yeah, we're okay in there?
No, we're not okay.
Oh, I excuse me. I wasn't talking to you. So I can. Yes. Okay. Okay. I am so sorry for the delay. There have been a few little complications, which Miss Plessy is actually still.
Complications?
Yes, but Miss Plessy is certainly
We need
taking
to
her.
bring our son out.
Well, Miss Plessy is trying as we speak to.
Now.
I can't do that.
The hell you can't. I am through getting dicked around. Do you hear me? I want to see my son right now. And if I don't.
Miss Mendez.
Oh, please call me Sylvia.
Miss Mendez, you need to understand this is not acceptable.
Yes, yes, you have every reason to be frustrated, but trust me when I tell you.
Waiting out here for nearly half an hour in a state of extreme anxiety.
Oh, I do realize that, but believe me, this is not.
Mendez, I would like you to let me finish. Now, I don't want to think about what David is going through on the other side of that door, with his father shouting and banging and generally carrying on like an utter. On the other hand, I think it's a fair point. It's fair to point out that my husband has been a model of reasonable behavior compared to you people. You made us rush over here. You told us this was urgent. Now you leave us twiddling our thumbs while our son sits a few steps away crying, and we still don't know what's going on?
Yes.
It has to stop, Ms. Mendez. It will stop. It will. And if you don't let us see David right now, I have no other choice than to call the police.
Yeah.
We've already called them.
I'm sorry. You've.
Well, the police are on their way. Not literally on their way, since it isn't a life or death situation. Since no one is in imminent danger or injured or, anything along those lines. And, since the detectives at Station 12 are apparently in the middle of another case, they couldn't actually come. Well, they've assured us that they will be here this afternoon. Miss Plessy has let them know that it's not a problem because as it happens, we have some things to sort out. But your son is not in any distress.
He's crying.
Well, not in any physical distress. Miss Plessy is just still interviewing him.
Interviewing.
I think that's a better word than. Anyway, the police are coming, and when they arrive, look, here's what I propose. Let's leave David where he is for now. And let's take a couple of minutes to discuss the broad outlines of the situation. And then definitely you'll talk to him, and we will try to, believe me, spending a few more minutes with Miss Plessy won't make things any worse than they already are.
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, she's doing her best to handle the problem in a professional manner.
What problem?
We're doing everything we can to follow the appropriate guidelines and to be respectful, of course, and to keep in mind that David is a minor, so he's entitled to various protections.
Okay. Thank you. What is the problem?
Yes. So why don't we step away from the door just to be sure there isn't any. Yeah, so here we go. If you just, yes, and I will fill you in on the background.
Fuck this. Are you going to tell us what's happened?
Would you please, if you just move, thank you. David has been using the school's network to download child pornography.
What?
That's not possible.
Well, may I go on? When our internet provider first notified us that someone on the network had been logging onto our unlawful websites, we didn't believe it either. We thought there must be some kind of a glitch, and then it happened again and again, and it took us, for technical reasons, it took us a few weeks to narrow our focus. And then this morning, just after 10 o'clock in Mr. Sedger's English class, David logged onto a site that carried just images of activity. And it was involving underage participants. We had an IT specialist tracking every device in the network. The specialist identified David's laptop as the one that was accessing the material. And we went directly to Mr. Sedger's classroom, where we were able to seize the computer before David could close the browser. And then we examined the laptop. We found a thumb drive. We asked him about it, and he didn't deny that he had been downloading those images.
Images.
Photographs, videos.
I just want to be certain that we're talking about the. You're referring to child pornography?
Yes, child. Yes.
Look, I'm sorry, but this makes no sense.
Because you people kept tabs on web activity. I thought one of your big selling points was that St. Albans is ultra careful about this. I mean, specifically this, protecting young minds.
Well, we are.
Okay, so even if David did want to log on to a child porn website, which I'm not conceding, but even if he did, there's no way that he should have been able to access that site. Am I wrong about that?
No, well, he wasn't on our regular network, the one that students are supposed to use during school hours. That network, you are quite right. That network has strict controls, but that's not the one he was using. He was on our secure network, which is reserved for staff and which has no content restrictions. I mean, needless to say, we were anxious to find out where he got the password. I mean, he claims that he got it by himself.
He claims?
Oh, yeah, but by that, of course, I mean that he
You don't believe him?
We don't know what to believe, which is why Miss Plessy is working very hard right now to convince David to be forthright. Otherwise, it will be police's job to make him open up.
To make him?
That was simply,
And I'm wondering, how will they go about making him open up? What, will they waterboard him?
Well, no, that's not what I was.
The subject, everybody knows how to steal a password. It's as easy as standing behind some innocent or idiot librarian while she signs in from her phone in the cafeteria because she just had a dazzling insight she needs to share with her 9 followers on Twitter. What we're talking about here isn't exactly 00 grade espionage. If David did break into your network, and I'm not conceding that he did, if he did, it's a good bet that he's not the only one.
Hence our desire to know whether he had help.
Even after he told you that he didn't?
Yeah, and who's we?
I'm sorry.
We asked, we're anxious to find out. Who is this we that's been hounding David?
Now, just a second.
It's a legitimate question.
Well, nobody's been hounding
Who's
David. Me and Miss Plessy?
That's it?
Yes.
So you and Miss Plessy are the only two people who know about this?
And the IT specialist and now the police.
And you gave him David's name?
Well, under the circumstances, yes, we gave him this.
Something's not right here. Are you possible that there hasn't been mistake, some kind of...
No, there has been no mistake.
If he was logging onto these websites using the secure network, why didn't you know right away? Why did it take you so long to figure out that it was David?
He was using a VPN.
A what?
Virtual private network.
It's an internet tool. When you have a VPN on your device, even if you're signed into a secure monitor network, your identity and your physical location won't be traceable in the usual way.
Oh, so like that thing that we've got, the thing that lets us watch American Netflix.
Yes, like that.
But if David has one, how did you catch him?
Well, if you're asking how it was done technically, I don't know. Computers aren't really my... But I can tell you that it wasn't easy. The specialist was at it for days, weeks, actually. And luckily, or, maybe unluckily, David kept going back. There were some days that he logged on 4 or 5 times. Look, I don't think he realized that getting caught was a possibility. When the specialist finally told us it was him, we logged and that he had logged on, Miss Plessy and I hurried to Mr. Sedger's class. We didn't knock, we opened the door and went straight to David's desk. He was so surprised he didn't have time to close his browser. All he could do was shut the lid. And half a second later, Miss Plessy had the laptop in her hands. She told him to pick up his things. We brought him here. And that was when we examined the computer and saw the material, which, well, I mean, it confirmed David was the person we were looking for.
What about the others? The other kids? Did they see? Did they catch a glimpse of what was on the screen?
No, he was in the back of the room in a corner with the computer angled. The only way to see the screen would have been to step around behind him. The other students had their own computers open, and then the class was in progress. So no, nobody saw.
Yeah, but when you and Plessy barged into the room, they figured out what was going on.
Well, they knew David was in some kind of trouble, but they couldn't have guessed what was. Well, I mean, we didn't say anything.
Oh, really?
We were scrupulously discreet.
Oh, discreet. I see. So the principal and the whatever you are,
Guidance counselor.
The principal and the guidance counselor storm into Mr. What's his name's English class.
Oh, Cedric.
For no apparent reason. They make a beeline to this one kid's desk, grab his computer, march him out of the room, and that, in your expert opinion, is discreet.
We were there maybe 60 seconds. I mean, Miss Plessy said, pick up your things. We led him away.
Exact words?
Verbatim.
Anything else?
No.
How do we know you're remembering correctly?
This didn't happen last year. It's been a half an hour, and I'm not sure why you're dwelling on
If
it.
a single one of those kids figured out what was going on, how long do you think it would be before the news is all over the school? Because once that happens, David isn't just in trouble, he's in danger. His name goes up on social media, his picture alongside words like pervert, predator, monster, our home address, death threats, every nut job in the city or even in the country wanting to kick the shit out of him. And David is not the kid who's going to win a fist fight, okay? So I'm going to ask you again. Did you or Miss Plessy say anything at all that might tip off even one student to the reason why you were taking our son out of class?
No.
We believe you.
I don't. Call Sam Rothman.
Stephen.
I want the name of the best criminal lawyer in town.
Wait a second.
I want the name of the lawyer Sam would go to if his son were in trouble.
No, look,
I want that lawyer sitting right beside David when the police get here.
Okay, let's just try not to overreact.
Overreact? You just had your expert do a bunch of high-tech maneuvers so you could nail our son? You called the cops and neglected to mention the fact while we sat here with our hearts in our mouths. So I ought to just walk through that door, tell Plessy to go fuck herself and get David out of this place.
Stephen, would you please?
Don't you tell me I'm overreacting because
Stephen! We are not calling Sam Rothman.
Oh, I just think we
Not
should.
sure. No, not yet. Before the police come, before this whole thing it explodes into something we have no control over, I need to understand this material, these things you claim David had in his computer.
It's not a claim. I saw the images.
Okay. Yes, these images. What were they of? Generally speaking, what kind of things are we talking about?
If it's all the same to you, I'd rather not.
It's not all the same to me. I don't know what the implications are if I look at the computer. Do I become an accomplice? Is looking at the stuff, is that a crime in itself?
I'm sorry, I can't help you with.
And frankly, I don't want to look. Not even a little bit. I just need to get a sense of what you think David has been doing.
What I think, what we think is beside the point. It is very important for you to understand that there is no speculation in the matter. These are facts.
Yes, facts. But we are talking about my son. We are talking about someone I know very, very well.
Yeah, okay, Dorothy.
No, listen to me. Do you have children?
I don't think that my personal life has anything to do
Oh,
with.
for Christ's sake, will you please just answer my question? I'm not playing games. I don't want to score points. I just need to know that you understand. Do you have children?
I am a professional educator. It is not.
No, you don't have children.
I don't have children.
And that's fine. No judgment. But in a situation like this, you may not grasp. What I'm saying is, a mother has I have a very clear sense of what my son is, of his identity, his nature. If this material, if these things, these images in his computer were just, if you told me David was simply downloading gay pornography,
Dorothy.
if that was it, gay porn, men with men, I'd say, okay, obviously not a useful thing to have on his screen in English class. But would that be something I could imagine David doing?
Yeah, all right, let's just not.
Yes, I could definitely imagine David wanting to look at images of men having sex with men. Only, and this is what I am trying to get a fix on. We're not talking about men with men, are we?
No.
What are we talking about?
I'm sorry. I don't.
What do I have to say to you? Do you want me to get down on my knees?
Oh, whoa. Dorothy, hey.
What are we talking about?
Adults with minors.
Adults. Male adults?
Yes.
Minors. Also male?
Yes.
Teenagers.
No.
Boys.
Yes.
Prepubescent boys?
Yes.
Little ones.
Jesus fuck.
Let me finish. Little boys. 5 years old?
Older, on the cusp of, I don't know, 11 to 12 years old.
So, grown men having sex with 11-year-old boys.
Along those lines, yes.
God in heaven.
There's been a mistake.
No, there's not been a mistake.
David wouldn't do this.
I think we're a little past talking about what David would or wouldn't do. He did it.
His desire, his erotic energy. This is my son. All right. This isn't a stranger I'm talking about. This is someone I live with. His sexual being isn't aroused by children.
Sexual being? He's in high school.
He was a late bloomer. I mean, his voice, his body, he didn't change until a few months ago, but it's happened now. He's not a boy, not a young boy. He doesn't desire young boys. He desires men.
Dorothy.
There's no point in pretending we don't know that. If you spent time in his company, if you had spent time in his company any time before this morning, if you ever talked at any length with David, if you had had a chance to watch him, then I have to believe that you know it too.
Look, let's not wade into something that we don't fully grasp.
No, this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is something I fully grasp.
You can't just, you lack the necessary expertise to be making blatant statements about adolescent sexuality.
Blanket statements about, I'm not talking in general. I'm saying a particular thing about a particular boy, young man who is my son. You need to listen to what I'm saying, Ms. Mendez. I do have the necessary expertise. I am the world's foremost authority on David Shaughnessy. I am telling you with absolute certainty that there has been a mistake, and I want to see him.
Yes.
We want to see him.
You will. I assure you. But you are going to have to wait. This is going to take a little time. Miss Plessy needs to exercise great care right now about dotting her I's, and she needs to be convinced that David is.
What?
That she's got all the information she can hope to get from David, because once he speaks to you,
once he speaks to us, you can't scare him anymore.
Oh no!
You can't bully him into saying things he'd be better off not saying.
Well, that really isn't.
That would harm him in a courtroom.
I don't think you're seeing where the danger lies. David isn't the one at risk.
Well,
not really. He's 16. He is never going to be in a courtroom. Now, not a regular one, because he's underage. His case will automatically be transferred to youth court, which means none of the most serious things that might happen to an adult who had done what he did. I mean, none of those things will happen to David. His file will be sealed. There will be no possibility of prison. His criminal record, I mean, has he ever been in trouble before? Any arrests, police interventions, prosecution of any kind?
No.
16 years old. First offense, he'll get a plea deal. Probation, counseling, limits on his internet use. Nothing that he can't handle. And when he turns 18, a new life, a fresh start.
That's it?
That's it.
How can you know these things?
We've done a lot of research over the past 3 weeks. This is the first time we've had to deal with
child pornography.
It has been a crash course. As soon as we realized someone was doing this stuff through our network, before we had any notion of who it might be, we needed to figure out what the fallout would look like. So we called the school's lawyer, and she put us in touch with a defense attorney who deals with this kind of thing. And the attorney explained to us that if it was a student who was downloading the material, the consequences for the student would be, on the whole, pretty manageable. For us, on the other hand, for us, the situation would be much worse.
Yeah, well, that's too bad, but let's not sugarcoat any of it. This whole shambles is your fault. If you had been more careful about password protection.
No. I'm sorry. I haven't been quite clear. By us, I mean the school and you.
And?
You.
Us? What do you mean? What?
Yes, you.
Oh, okay. Wait.
We, the school, we failed to keep our network secure. It ended up being used for illegal purposes.
Yeah, we got that part.
By law, we have to report the infraction to the relevant educational authorities. It's possible they'll decide to revoke our status. St. Albans could be ordered to close its doors. We could even be potentially charged with criminal negligence.
Yeah, very troubling, sort of. But that's not us. You said us.
David has been using the school's network to download images of men having relations with children. Maybe, and I'm not suggesting it's necessarily the case, but maybe on your home network,
hang on.
Maybe he's been downloading similar images in your home.
Oh no! Look, we
No, Ms. Mendez, David hasn't been doing that.
So you say. For all I know, yes, very sincere.
All you know.
But the police, they will want to look into it. They'll have to look into it. They'll have to check every website that's been accessed through your home network over the past year.
Let them. We have nothing to hide. What?
Nobody in your home has looked at any kind of pornographic material online in the last 12 months.
Oh, okay. Perhaps when they search, they'll find a few things in the browser history.
Perhaps more than a few.
Who cares? There's a giant difference between child pornography and the regular kind. Isn't there?
I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not moralizing about what you do in the privacy of your home. I am just saying you'd better prepare yourselves because the police are about to take a detailed interest in things you probably never thought you'd have to discuss with anyone.
Okay. We're going to have to face some awkward conversations about what we do on the internet. Not a fun thing to go through, but if that's all it is, we'll be fine.
That's not all it is. In situations like this, where a young person has engaged in sexual offenses, the police have no choice but to look into root causes.
Root causes?
I hope I don't have to explain that when adolescents commit acts of this nature, it often turns out that they have been victims of similar acts in the past.
Jesus fucking Christ.
No, wait. You can't seriously think my husband.
It's not about what I think. It's about the questions the police are going to ask, the questions they are required to ask.
For example?
I don't think that I should be playing like I'm a policeman.
For example?
Well, for example, has David ever been subject to corporal punishment or any other kind of domestic violence committed by either of you or by any adult in his life?
Corporal punishment?
Has he ever been or had any reason to think he might be the object of your sexual desire?
Oh, God, hold on.
Or the desire of any other adult who was close to him? Has he ever witnessed you, his parents, committing acts of physical or emotional abuse against each other or against anyone else, etc.?
Oh, you're quite the expert, aren't you?
Not because I want to be.
You've seen it up close.
Look, this isn't easy.
Oh, of course you have. You've been forced to deal with it, all of it. The police, the youth protection officers, the terrified, broken kids who have no one to turn to, even here. Abuse isn't just for poor people.
No, it isn't.
How many cases have you seen?
I really can't delve
enough to know the signs, evidently, because there are signs, aren't there? Patterns. How long have you been a guidance counselor at St. Albans?
6 years.
And that's all it takes. A few years. You come up against it a couple of times, and suddenly the suspicion is rising up and by itself. You see the signs. And even if it's the last thing you want going through your head, there it is. No one has to name it. No one has to plant the seed. It's already there in your mind, isn't it?
I'm sorry, but this is.
I'm not asking you to give up secrets. I'm not asking you to say anything about other kids that you've helped. I'm just asking about my son, Ms. Mendez. I need to know. We need to know. Did you see signs in him? When you talked to David, when you watched him, did you think this boy has been abused? Did you have that thought?
I can't answer that.
Yes, you can.
I'm sorry.
You just don't want to.
No,
Anything you say about David, true or false, becomes an opening for a lawsuit. So naturally, you don't want to talk, but don't pretend that you can't.
I am not pretending I can't. I'm sorry, let me go see where things stand with Miss Plessy, and then you can come in.
I can't. I can't. Fucking mealy mouth bitch of a petty bureaucrat. What? Oh, what? Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be criticizing, should I? I wouldn't want to provoke the powers that be. They might expel him. Only, and I don't want to burst your bubble here, but I'm thinking that train has left the fucking station. What?
Abused. He was abused.
She didn't say that. She made a point of refusing to say that.
She thought it. It was written all over her face.
What? You and I must have picked up our face reading skills from different textbooks, because that's not what I read. I read mealy mouth bureaucrat bitch in big red letters on her forehead.
She'll say it too.
Well, she had her chance.
Not to us, to the police.
Oh, right. That's what she'll do. She'll speculate to the cops on the subject of a kid she's been talking to for all of 90 minutes. And even if she did, do you think that they would pay attention to her fantasies?
Fantasies? This is her job. This is what she does for a living.
Oh, what she does for a living is help pimply teenagers decide whether or not to sign up for enriched math. This thing that she's dealing with today, this is way above her fucking pay grade. This is a hot pile of steaming shit that fell into her lap because no one else in the building would touch it with a barge pole. And the principal is too much of a pussy to handle it by herself.
How did I expect you to respond?
To respond?
Did I honestly think you'd accept your responsibilities?
Excuse me?
Was I stupid enough to believe that you'd have the courage to say, this is on me? Or at least this is partly on me? I am such a numbskull that I actually hoped you'd face up to your obligations.
You don't get to do this to me.
Oh, Stephen.
You don't.
This isn't about what I'm doing to you. It's about what the police will do. Tell us, Mr. Shaughnessy, have you ever been violent with David?
What do you mean by violent?
You're going to play word games with the police? Oh, that'll end well. By violent, Mr. Shaughnessy, I mean, have you ever hit your son?
Only when he... No. Sometimes when I was provoked, it's natural now and then to lose your temper.
It is not natural to hit a child.
He's not a child.
So what you're saying is, yes, you've hit him now and then.
Yes.
By hit, would we be talking about open-handed slaps on the knuckles, the face? Oh, not below the belt, I hope. Or are we talking perhaps about something harder? Have you ever punched your son, your boy, Mr. Shaughnessy?
All right, you've had your fun.
You think this is fun? Have you ever punched David, Mr. Shaughnessy?
I'm not going to get into this.
Answer the fucking question!
Okay. You can come in now.
Blackout. Part 2, Montreal Children's Hospital, October, 8:05 a.m. Dorothy is seated at the table. Stephen is standing some distance away. They're both in business attire. Stephen's cell phone rings. He pulls it from his pocket and looks at the caller ID.
It's Bernie.
Don't take it.
What?
Don't take it.
What?
Do you hear me, Stephen?
Bernie, this isn't a good time. No, listen. Bernie, stop. I'm at the hospital. We had to bring David in last night. Food poisoning. Yeah, he was on the bathroom floor when we got home. Dorothy was terrified. Well, we were both terrified. We called 911. The ambulance brought him into the children's. Yes, we've been here all night. So yeah, I'm sorry about not getting back to you, but well, yes, he's better. No, thanks. We're fine. No, really. Okay, I'll let you get. Right, Bernie, I understand. But with it, yes, but food poisoning is a serious thing, okay? So can we make it next week? Yeah, I get it, Bernie, yes. Look, how about Monday morning? Does that work? Oh, God, that's great. I appreciate it, Bernie. Yes, Monday, first thing, yes. And thanks for... Bernie?
Food poisoning? Stephen,
Would you have preferred that I put it differently?
I preferred that you not take the call.
Well, I had no choice.
You had a choice.
Dorothy, he is this close to hitting us with the covenant.
So?
So, are you kidding me? If I keep dodging his calls...
Dodging calls isn't the issue here. You have to decide what matters.
Yes, this matters.
Oh, my God.
What do you want me to say to you? It matters.
David matters.
Where have we been for the last fuck knows how many hours? What have we been doing? What have I been doing that could possibly give you the impression that David doesn't matter?
More than a bank covenant?
Way more. Way more. But do I really need to explain this to you? The covenant also matters.
No, it doesn't.
You might see things differently after Bernie pulls the plug.
Oh, or I might call him up and say, thank you, dimwit. What took you so long?
That's not funny.
It isn't meant to be.
Okay, we're tired. We're not thinking straight.
Oh, speak for yourself.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What are you doing?
I'm calling Michaela. Oh, do I have your permission to call Michaela?
Do what you like.
Thanks, I will.
She won't be there.
I'm aware of that. If I leave a message, we won't have to worry about her calling while we're with David and what was that name they gave us?
They didn't.
Oh, great. So whatever. David and Dr. No Name.
Alternately, you could turn off your phone.
Oh, no, there's a brilliant idea. Uh-huh.
Even when you...
What?
When you leave the message, I don't really think there's any need for...
Dorothy, I get it.
Okay, so...
Yes. Yeah, it's me, 10 after 8. I wanted to let you know we won't be in this morning. It's David. He came down with food poisoning last night. It was bad. We had to call an ambulance. We ended up spending the night at the children's, which is where we are now. The danger's passed. He's doing better, but they're going to keep him for a day or two. We will stay a couple more hours and then we'll come in after things get settled. Probably this afternoon. Maybe not both of us. Maybe just me. We'll see how things go. So, but just don't call. I will keep you posted. And I spoke to Bernie LaFlamme at the National Bank. He knows about David. And anyway, we're going to sit down Monday morning. You can put it on the agenda and just ignore the emails. All right. How is that?
Good.
Good.
Stephen, I don't really hope he pulls the plug.
I know.
But also, I do.
I know.
All those years.
All those years.
Not that it matters. I mean, out of our hands.
Well, no. I mean, no.
What?
No, I'm just. if we're going to look at this objectively, it isn't out of our hands. It isn't.
I shouldn't have brought it up.
I'm just saying.
You know what? I regret bringing it up. I do. So let's, if you don't mind.
Okay, fine. But Dorothy,
No, I'm serious.
yes, but no. Look, I'm glad, okay? I'm glad we're coming to grips with it. Let's take a step back and let's be clear.
Clear.
Yeah, Dorothy.
Clear. Have we failed to be clear until now? Is this,
It is not
is,
out
is
out
this
of our
us?
hand. It's not out of our hands.
Oh, well, is this us being clear? Excellent. So, to be clear, the central fact that we need to recall, the fact we really need to bear in mind is that we are in default, not just once, back to back monthlies. Whether or not Bernie's given us a formal notice, the covenant has been triggered by definition. Are you listening to me? By definition, it is now out of our hands.
No, he wants to talk.
He wants us to sign over whatever's left. He's looking for another cent or two on the dollar, which is his job. I don't blame him. But let's not kid ourselves. He's not in this to save us. Salvation is not an offer. Oh no, not for an instant.
You don't know what's on offer.
Oh my God.
You don't.
Oh, this is Bernie LaFlamme we're talking about.
Yeah.
He works for a bank. This is not a person who often gets mistaken for Mother Teresa, okay? I know exactly what he's prepared to give and what he wants to take. And I know, listen to me, I know he doesn't think we are a going concern.
Oh, wait a second.
Because we're not.
You have no basis for saying that.
Is this really the conversation you want to be having here now? Is it your considered opinion that Bernie LaFlamme ought to be the focus of our attention at this moment?
You started it.
Oh, I'm stopping it. Done. Over. Agree to disagree.
Yeah, no. You don't get to pronounce us dead and then turn around and then say agree to disagree. What does that even mean? We need to be on the same fucking page.
Just shut up! Shut up! Don't. I don't want to hear another word about that goddamn.
Miriam Jacobs walks in. She has a tablet computer in her hands.
Excuse me. Are you David's parents?
Yes.
Hi. I don't mean to interrupt.
That's okay.
I'm Miriam.
Stephen.
Dorothy.
Nice to meet you.
Yes. I'm sorry. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Miriam Jacobs. Dr. Jacobs. They were supposed to. You weren't told that I was coming.
Oh, so you're the
Yes, I'm taking over David's case.
Right. When they sent us up here, they didn't mention your name.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, God, emergency doctors. You know how it is.
No, personally, I don't.
I'm sorry. We I mean we didn't realize you were.
Oh, no. Yeah, I'm so right. I'm not very good at the whole lab coat stethoscope thing. Kids are fine with it. Parents, not so much.
Of course.
Yeah, whatever.
So, how are we doing?
Hanging in there.
Tough night.
Yep.
When did you come in?
Around 7, something like that.
You've been here 13 hours? I don't suppose you slept at all. Maybe taken a nap at some point?
What do you think?
Yeah, look, it wouldn't change anything if you went home, got a bit of rest, and then came back this afternoon and we could go.
Thank you. No, we're here now. A little fatigue isn't going to kill us.
True, but I think
Really?
it might.
We are fine.
We'll be fine.
Okay. Okay, well, in that case, let's take a few minutes to talk about this situation, and then we'll go down the hall and look in on David. How does that sound?
Great.
Okay. I'm sorry, if you're not comfortable talking here, we can go to my office. It's a bit of a hike up to the 7th floor, but we have privacy up there.
We have privacy here.
Until someone walks in.
Nobody's walked in since we came up from emergency.
The sun hadn't risen when we came up from emergency, but now people are going to start arriving. This is a public place, right? Public
Right.
space. Strangers might come in and hear us discussing things.
Not if we lower our voices.
Oh, Jesus.
And at the moment, there are no strangers.
Yep, at the moment.
You know what? Let's just go upstairs.
We'll
I think
talk here.
We'll talk here.
This hasn't been an easy time.
What makes you say that? It's been a barrel of laughs.
There is no reason to put yourselves through unnecessary hardship. David is in good hands. Why don't you go home?
We are not going home.
Yeah, I really think that
We've
for
made this. We've been pretty definite about this.
Yeah, but a little night's rest might.
We're not going home. Now, please, can we get to the point?
Okay. The worst is over. They have pumped David's stomach, put him on a saline drip, and sent him up here. I'm going to wait a couple of hours to be sure he's stable, and then I will prescribe a Angizidilic.
A what?
Oh, an anxiolytic. It's an anti-anxiety medication. He's still quite emotional, but that is to be expected.
So he's awake.
Oh, very much so.
Is he? I mean, is there any permanent damage?
Oh, no. The level of poison in his system was never really that high. And apparently he had already vomited when the ambulance arrived.
Yes.
How was he when you found him?
Curled up on the bathroom floor in a puddle of puke, vodka bottle beside him, Advil container in his hand, moaning, saying that he wanted to die.
David did a terrible thing to himself, to you this morning. It's a struggle to understand, but there's something that you should try to hang on to. When you walk into that room and see him pale and weak with an IV tube in his arm, it is important to remind yourselves that at some level, despite everything, your son didn't want to die.
Didn't want to.
Well, no, at some level, no.
So the pills, the vodka, that was a mistake?
Well, not a mistake. But when a suicide attempt doesn't succeed, it's often signs of feelings more complicated than a simple wish to end it all. If death had been David's only goal,
he'd be dead. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So he wasn't trying to kill himself.
Oh, he was trying, just not hard enough to be certain he'd succeed. Before this attempt, did you ever hear David express or hint at suicidal feelings?
No.
Has he ever had depressive episodes in the past? Losing an appetite, maybe not being able to get out of bed, things like that?
Well, he's a teenager. He has moods.
That is not what she's talking about. The answer is yes. I've always seen sadness in him, confusion, pain. It's not a matter of episodes. It's been there for years, every day, in his eyes and in his voice, the way he holds himself, unhappiness.
Have you asked yourself what would be causing this unhappiness?
I've never had to ask myself. It was plain as day.
Okay, David and I, our relationship, there have been tensions.
Tensions.
Sometimes things happen.
They don't happen. It's a choice. You have to choose consciously to reject your son.
Okay, whoa, hold on, hang on.
Oh, you have to choose to be violent.
Violent?
I have, on occasion, hit David.
On occasion?
Yes.
Regularly throughout his life since he was little?
No.
What? Are you going to lie to the psychiatrist now?
Oh, I hope by spanking his violence. You give a kid a slap on the backside through his pants. Are we calling that violence?
Well, we're not calling it affection. And as the years went by, it got more serious than spanking.
You make it sound like it's this terrible old thing.
It is a terrible old thing.
It happened a few times.
Once.
Fingers on one hand total.
Once is way too often.
Yeah, you're right, Dorothy. Okay, you're right. It's not something I'm proud of, but let's not make it out to be like something.
And maybe I've been thinking, and maybe having to face his father's animosity.
Animosity?
No, I mean, you can't really sum it all up in one word, but I'm sort of groping here.
Oh, this is good. Keep going.
Maybe the experience of being unloved.
He's not unloved. He has never been unloved.
Oh, it's not about being, it's about feeling. Maybe that feeling made David want to hurt others, to humiliate others.
Whoa, hold on, hurt others?
And maybe hurting others made him, in the end, want to hurt himself.
I'm a little unclear. David hurt others.
He didn't. He has never directly harmed anyone, ever.
You know that isn't the point.
I'm sorry. You've lost me.
Last spring, David was caught downloading child pornography.
Which is not the same thing as hurting others. You can't hurt someone who is inside your computer.
Wait, what did he say when you caught him?
We didn't. The school did in English class on a Tuesday morning.
He was downloading child porn in school?
Yes.
With other students around in the teacher's presence?
Charges were laid. There was a proceeding in youth court. He got a discharge, 18 months of limited internet, talking to a psychologist every 2 weeks, no time behind bars, no criminal record.
How did he take it?
Well, he wasn't off the hook. The school suspended him for a week. They probably wanted to expel him, but they knew I'd sue. So he finished the academic year. He spent a lot of time in his bedroom, which, I mean, is par for the course, right? So anyway, by and large, he seemed okay.
He didn't seem okay. As I look back, he wasn't okay at all. We weren't watching. We were so relieved. I was so relieved that he was moving forward, that he was going to complete his year. And also, we had other worries.
What kind of worries?
Financial ones.
We told ourselves, well, I told myself the child pornography thing was a detour, a wrong turn that had been put right. David had a scare, but now something positive was going to come of it. He'd talk to the psychologist. He'd take a good look at his life. He'd figure out who he was, get closer to the happiness he deserved. And the months went by, and he still had this bleak look in his eyes. And I wondered, is this part of moving forward? Is this David's journey toward a healthier attitude, toward clarity, toward fulfillment? I wondered, but I didn't ask. Neither of us asked.
Well, you were distracted. You had financial worries.
We did.
And now, are those worries behind you? Can you devote a lot more time to your son?
A lot?
Yes.
What's a lot?
A substantial portion of your lives. Hours every day.
Well, if you put it that way.
Yes.
It's not. It's
yes.
not that.
I'm sorry. I'm sensing ambivalence here.
Not for me. No ambivalence whatsoever. I am telling you, yes.
Okay. If all you want to do is strike poses here.
Poses.
Can we be honest for a minute?
I am being honest.
Oh, God. Dorothy and I are in real estate. We have a development company. We package, finance, build, and operate suburban retail spaces.
You sound like a brochure. We put up shopping malls.
Lately, we've had to face some non-negligible challenges.
Non-negligible?
What are you, my editor?
The challenges aren't non-negligible. They're not challenges. They're crippling defects. Online commerce is annihilating us.
Okay, let's not go down that
Every
road, please.
shopping mall in the city, in this world, is a horse and buggy rolling in the wrong direction on a superhighway. It's only a matter of time before suburban retail dies out altogether.
No, I'm sorry. No, we are not. This is an inaccurate description of the current
Oh, would you listen to
situation.
yourself? It's so imbecilic. We should have faced the facts long time ago. We should have given up on the delusion that we could salvage a business that wasn't salvageable. But Stephen, well, he's finding it hard to get over that cognitive hump. I'm not. I'm ready to devote all my time to David. Stephen can do what he wants. He always has.
Yeah, how about we dial back on the whatever, the recriminations, okay? I'll do my part. I will never let David down.
Oh, that is exactly what you just said you want to do. If you're putting your hours into the company, you are letting David down.
Well, a grown-up knows how to deal with more than one problem at a time.
A grown-up knows when his son has tried to kill himself, no other problem is worth his time.
Oh boy, you've got it all figured out, haven't you?
Well, better than you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try to keep
Yeah,
this.
you know, which I have to tell you leaves me kind of puzzled. Because you've always been so perceptive. You've always noticed how sad David was, how confused he felt. You've always understood the sadness and the confusion were my fault because I wasn't sweet and cuddly. And let's not forget for one fucking nanosecond that I hit him a few times.
That's right.
That's right. One or two punches over the years, and God knows no father has ever done that to his teenage son since time began. And meanwhile, all the other stuff I did, like feeding him, putting a roof over his head, paying through the nose so he could go to St. Albans School where, oops, they let their 10th graders download kiddie porn. All that other stuff counts for nothing because I had the gall to lose my shit and smack him around whenever he called me names like fascist and redneck and Neanderthal.
Oh, here we go.
Yes, here we go. And the part that mystifies me, the part that I can't get my fascist head around is how Dorothy, seeing all this pain and knowing how unhappy David was and being so wise and sensitive and blah, 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 tuned in, how you didn't do a thing to help him.
Go to hell.
Okay, we
You
need
kept
to
getting
just-
up in the morning and going to the office. You kept working and clawing and fighting the same as I did to save some part of our shipwrecked company. And stupid Neanderthal me, every night when I'd come home and see that bleak look in David's eyes, which I saw just as clearly as you, I think, oh man, there must be some truly shitty aspects of being 16 and gay, even in these enlightened times and even at the People's Republic of St. Albans. And when the child pornography thing happened, I'll admit it was a shock. But I figured, what the hell? What the hell he's exploring? That's what kids do. Maybe it's scary and dangerous and criminal, but that's what kids should do.
My God, what?
Yes, I know it was wrong to hit him. But you know what? It turned out that he had the courage to stand up to his father's fists, which, when you think and stop to think about how old he is and how he's built, that's a pretty special kind of courage. And when I turned the whole thing over in my mind, I thought, you know what? He's okay. He has substance. He may be soft, but there's something underneath his softness. There's something that won't be intimidated. There's something that's ready to fight back, and he is, in his own weird, weak way, he's actually strong. That's what I said to myself when I looked into his bleak eyes. But you, oh God, you knew so much better. You saw the suffering for what it was, and yet despite that, and this is what baffles me, Dorothy, despite what you saw, despite what you knew, you went to work every morning. You put in long days trying to save what you thought was a worthless company, while David sank into a misery that you were actually conscious of. I'm the lowlife that hits his boy. Yeah, I'm a fuckhead, no argument here. But I didn't turn my back on him and what I knew was his time of trouble. I didn't betray him. No, Dorothy, you did that.
Dorothy, I think that we should talk about this.
Oh, you talk all you like. I'm going to see my son.
Can we,
No.
you're in distress, both of you. Your best option right now is,
No.
stop, just listen to me. Nothing good will come out of you. Go.
Blackout. Part 2 continued. Montreal Children's Hospital. The same morning, 8:55 a.m. Stephen enters. He's breathing hard.
That was regrettable.
Oh, you think?
I realize how hard this is, but you should try to not take it personally. Okay, you should make more of an effort, not
I
to.
heard you the first time.
He was just lashing out.
Oh, which I guess might be a reason to take it personally.
He's in pain.
Well, Advil and Smirnoff will do that.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I don't. I am going to be frank with you, Dr. Jacobs.
Please call me
I
Miriam.
don't know why you're even talking to me. You can't be worried whether or not my feelings are hurt, can you? Are you seriously wondering whether I'm wounded because my suicidal fuck up of a son screamed at me?
I know for a fact that you are wounded. If I had any doubts on the subject, you just laid them to rest.
Yeah, well, thanks for the concern. Let's take a rain check on the heart-to-heart, okay? Just tell Dorothy I've gone to the office.
No, I'm sorry. It is not you I am concerned about. It's David. He needs you.
Maybe you and I aren't in total agreement on how to define need. Is it really need if he just wants me to stand there while he calls me the worst names his cluttered brain can come up with?
He needs to know that his father supports him.
Yeah, let me set your mind at ease. I support him in high style. He has never gone to bed hungry, and those astronomical fees at St. Albans haven't been paying themselves.
Are you being deliberately obtuse?
Well, are you? I think I've made it plain that I'm not in the mood for therapeutic bullshit.
He was acting out of his self-loathing just now. Don't you get that? He was doing everything he could to alienate you.
It worked.
And because it worked, because he succeeded in being so venomous and hateful, because he said everything he could think of that was most likely to goad and infuriate you for precisely those reasons, this is the moment to show him that you care.
Oh my God. You have known me, what, 45 minutes? Where do you get the nerve to imply that I've ever done anything but care? David is my son. He's the only child I'm ever going to be father of. And I have spent way, way more time in his company than my dad ever spent in mine. I have made plans for David. I've worried about David. I've been surprised by David. I've disappointed in David. And oh yeah, I have hit David. More than once, boo fucking who. I've been sitting in this place for God knows how many hours while the company I created, the business I've sweated blood to sustain, because I thought David should have a legacy. That company is dying. And you figure maybe he doesn't know I care because I did what? Because I didn't scream back, shed tears, take him in my arms. Tell me, what should I have done? If he doesn't think I care, that's his problem. I have spent my life showing him I care, showing I care about my son, that I care 1,000 times more about him than everything else in the world put together, including my own shitty life.
I only wish he were here to listen to you say these things.
Oh, fuck off.
Go back.
What?
Go back in there and talk to him.
Well, it seems to me I was just doing that, okay? Or rather, I was standing there while he yelled and yelled and yelled. Call me a mopey guy, but I didn't find it rewarding.
It's my fault. I was upset. I stirred him up.
Yeah, and we heard exactly what he thinks of me. And you know what? It's all good. It's good. I'm fine with what he thinks of me. But if you're telling me to go back in there for more, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen.
I'm not telling you to go back for more. I'm telling you to go sit down quietly beside him and take the time to set things straight. I won't be there to poison the atmosphere. You'll make peace. You can't leave, not with this hanging between you. Do you agree?
I don't agree that you poison the atmosphere, but yes. Stephen.
Yeah, you don't call me that. You don't know me, and you do not get to call me by that name.
Okay, let's just This has been a highly stressful process for the three of you. And it is only natural that you should be reactive. I mean, you have experienced a profound trauma, but don't take...
Christ, can we do without the psychobabble?
Let her speak.
What I am trying to say is you have lived your lives turned upside down. You have been through hell. And for that very reason, because you have been through hell, this moment, this seemingly blighted, soul-destroying moment is an opportunity. Do you see? It is so rare in life that the old structures are knocked over, that the trivial things you've spent so much time worrying about are suddenly revealed in all of their laughable insignificance, that from one minute to the next, you are free to choose a new way of doing things.
You finished? I'm asking because my wife doesn't like it when I interrupt. Are you finished?
Yes.
Okay, great. Let me start by saying that was beautiful.
Stephen.
Really. It was deep and sincere, and in a Dr. Feelgood kind of way, it was almost poetic. But you've got a few misconceptions that need clearing up.
Stephen.
No! No. I don't knock over structures. I build them. The things I worry about, my business, my debts, my career, they are trivial or laughable or whatever the fuck else you said. They're important. They are what I am. And this may come as a shock to you, but I am not looking for a new way to do things. The old way works fine. That's how it got old.
What are you doing?
I'm leaving.
You can't.
Are you sure about that?
No, I mean...
Huh?
I'm sorry.
What are you sorry for?
Losing my cool.
He lost his.
That's what Stephen does. I generally speaking, I know how to control myself.
Yeah, well, we all have our limits.
Okay. Yes, it's just, you can't lay this whole thing at his front door.
I'm not.
Yes, you are. I think. A little. You wouldn't be the first. Stephen comes across as such a,
Asshole? Sorry, did I say that? Look, I should check in my rounds, and I'll see how David's doing later, and we can
Stephen isn't an asshole. Or he is sometimes, I mean, a lot of the time, but there's more to it than that. He's proud and brittle, and nothing has worked out the way he had hoped.
Welcome to humanity.
Yes, fair enough. It's for years I didn't think we'd be parents. From our wedding night onward, we tried to conceive without success. We got older. We tried everything, tracking cycles, taking temperature, vitamin E, herbs from Peru. Still, no success. Oh, Stephen was miserable. Yeah, he always wanted kids. Not that we were short of things to do. I mean, we had a company to keep afloat, friends to see, trips to take. We had a life. And then one day, bam, I missed my period. Found myself having dizzy spells, wanting to throw up. And it was as if though my body had decided for no apparent reason to just stop being nice to me. I didn't say anything to Stephen. I got a home pregnancy test, peed on it, and there it was, red on white, a bun in the oven. I was 41 years old. My first thought was, holy shit.
You saw it as bad news?
Well, I didn't see it as good news. I mean, old eggs, tired sperm. I Googled late life pregnancy and found thousands, literally thousands of blood-curdling articles about miscarriage, premature delivery, Down syndrome, dwarfism. God, I hate Google. For 48 hours, I kept it to myself. I called the Morgentaler Clinic.
You wanted an abortion?
Well, I didn't want one. I just needed to know I had a plan B in case. I mean,
You were afraid.
petrified. On the third morning, we were in the kitchen. Stephen was making coffee. I couldn't stand it anymore. And I asked him, but what would you do if I told you I was pregnant? He didn't even take a second to think it over. He said, I'd fall on my knees and thank the Lord. Oh, God, the man is such a goofball. Well, I mean, what could I do? I told him.
Did he fall on his knees?
And stayed there, kissing my hands till the coffee was cold. Later that day, I put a discreet call into the Morgentaler Clinic and canceled my appointment. And thus began the pregnancy from hell.
From hell?
Well, okay, not hell, but it was no picnic. I wasn't a young woman. It was morning sickness and backache, swollen hands and feet. It was dreadful. Only Stephen was always there, always there when anything came up. He'd say, no sweat, I'll take care of it. And he did. Well, I spent the last trimester in bed. He did both our jobs and the shopping and the cooking and the cleaning. It was like a test. What was he prepared to endure for this baby? And the answer was a lot. And when the time finally came and the cramps started and this little red-faced human being emerged from my body, what can I say? It was, I felt.
It felt right.
Yeah, it did. And that was thanks to Stephen. He was right. He'd been right all along. His manic refusal to surrender had seen us through. And now our newborn was suckling at my breast. And well, we decided that if the baby was a boy, we'd name him Julian Malcolm, our father's names. Stephen stroked my hair and said, what if we called him David? It's Hebrew, means beloved. I would have preferred Julian Malcolm, but I was just too worn out to argue, too grateful to argue. I said, yeah, sure, David. Stephen dabbed tears from his eyes and placed a ridiculously tender kiss on his son's head. And he said, your father loves you, David. And looking back, I can't think of another moment in our marriage when I was so purely and completely happy.
Childbirth will do that.
I'd originally planned to take 6 months off. Somehow it turned into 2 years. Who knew motherhood could be so much fun? Baby David was a spitting image of his old man. When he cried, you'd have thought the world was ending. And when he laughed, every cell in his body was in on the joke. Meanwhile, Stephen was bursting with plans. 2 new malls in the West Island, a third in Anjou, and a fourth in Regard. I tried to object. Amazon was metastasizing. Suburban retail, it was being obliterated. And when I came back to work, the first thing I did was propose. We liquidate.
Stephen didn't welcome the proposal?
Well, that would be putting it mildly. He said, no fucking way we're going to quit. Not after all these years.
Another manic refusal to surrender. And you went along with it.
What kind of person would I have been to not go along? To say to this man who had never given up on me, I'm giving up on you?
And in the midst of all that, you were raising a little boy.
A beautiful little boy. From the time David could walk, Stephen was dragging him out to play. He was signing him up for soccer and hockey and t-ball. Every Saturday morning, the three of us, we would go to the park where David would cling to me, refusing to join the other children. While Stephen tried to not look so mortified, David, he just wanted to read books and draw pictures, watch TV. He wanted to be his own version of himself, not the one his father had spent so many years imagining. But at some point, Stephen, he was never going to surrender, but he stopped pushing quite so hard. He sent David to St. Albans, which wasn't Stephen's first choice. I mean, even his 10th, but it was where David wanted to go, and I was prepared to back him up. He was smaller than other boys. His voice was still high and his skin smooth. Stephen would make snide comments about his hair, his walk, his clothes. David, he would make snide comments right back, about Stephen's politics and his waistline, his clothes. It pretty much stayed verbal. A couple of times when Stephen was bone tired and the banquet is at his throat and David wasn't retreating even a millimeter, a couple of times Stephen balled his fist and you need to understand that it was very, very rare.
Once is too often.
Once is too often.
Did you say something?
Every time. But Stephen, the irony is they are so much alike, so passionate, so ready to take offense, so stubborn when anyone opposes them, none of which bothers me and David. I mean, he's 16, sooner or later.
He'll grow up. Whereas his father
refuses to surrender.
Refuses? Or doesn't know how?
Is there a difference? Of course, there's the difference. But either way, whether it's choice or just the wiring in his goofball brain, either way, Stephen has never given up, never once, not on the company, not on me, not on our son.
So he gets a pass. I'm not judging.
You are judging. And yes, within limits, he gets a pass.
Within limits?
What is this? What are you trying to do right now?
I am trying to form an idea of what my suicidal patient has to cope with in his home life. Well, he'll have to cope with again when he is discharged from here. A father who gets a pass for being perverse, for making bad decisions, for committing acts of violence against a fragile boy.
Stephen is flawed.
Deeply flawed.
But he's offered his son unwavering loyalty at every single moment of our life as a family. Is it so difficult to accept that he might get a little loyalty in return?
Is that your word for it? Loyalty, this thing this goofball gets from you? Loyalty.
What other word would I use?
Pity. But you knew that already. I'm late for my rounds. I'll look in on David before lunch. Will you be okay until then?
Oh, don't worry about me.
I mean, after the night you've had,
Yeah, I'm fine. Go do your rounds.
I didn't mean to be hard on you.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
Mr. Rothman, please. Dorothy Krieger? Sam, hi. I hope I'm not bothering you. Good. You know, same old, same old. Yes, great. Growing like a weed. Mm-hmm. Listen, I have a favor to ask you. It's a little awkward. Also, if you don't mind, confidential. Can you give me the name of a good divorce lawyer?
Blackout. Part 3, Courthouse. September the following year, 9:15 a.m. Marika Stavridis is seated at the table. She's wearing a black lawyer's robe over a dark outfit. A phone lies in front of her along with a file folder. She's reading a document from the file. The door opens, Stephen comes in. Seeing Marika, he stops.
I must have the wrong room.
Oh, Mr. Shaughnessy,
Yes?
you have the right room.
Well, I was expecting, is Dorothy Krieger here?
Oh, she just texted me. Parking trouble. She will be another few minutes.
And you are?
Oh, Marika Stavridis, I work with Helen Koval.
Oh, okay. So when will she be here?
Like I said, another few minutes.
No. When will Helen Corval be here?
Oh, she will not.
She will not?
She's got a major trial starting this morning. She did her best to reschedule, but you know all this.
I do?
From her email? The one that she sent 3 weeks ago, confirming that I would be replacing her. You and Miss Krieger were both CC'd.
News to me.
No, I saw your name. Yes, right here. Here we are.
Oh, that went to my corporate address. I haven't used that address and, well, I've been legally barred from using that address since I never got this email.
Well, and guess you need to come here.
Because Ms. Krieger texted me last night confirming the time and room number. She probably never noticed the wrong address and she didn't mention we'd be getting a new prosecutor.
Oh, well, seems like things could have been handled more efficiently.
Seems like it.
Well, there's no harm. Everyone will be here.
Yeah, except Helen Corval.
If you're feeling a little disappointed.
A little? When this thing started, it was Corval who gave me her word she'd get a conviction, that there would be justice, her solemn word. And now, when it's finally time to send the bastard away, she has other stuff to do?
Wait, let's just be clear about something. Ellen kept her word. She got a guilty plea.
That is not a conviction.
Yes, it's better than a conviction. It is a formal acknowledgement of the defendant himself. There is no going back, no appealing the verdict. There will be justice. Guaranteed. Yes, it would be nice if Helen could have been here for the sentencing hearing, but it matters less than you may suppose. Today, this phase of the process isn't only about the law. It is also about the people who were it. You, David's mother, above all, David himself. So no loaded questions, no cross-examinations, no attorney's tricks, just you three in your own words talking about what you've been through.
Well, then what do we need you for? Are you going to sit around the whole time and do nothing?
After your statements, Robert Sedgwick will be allowed to address the court. Once that is done, I will speak briefly. I will explain why we are here, and I will recommend a 5-year sentence. It will be the same argument Helen would have presented. Because, look, she wrote it. And I promise, Judge Kaiser will not pay any less attention to me than he would have paid to her. So are we on the same page? Mr. Shaughnessy, do we have a problem?
We? Hardly. One of us is a civil servant with a cushy salary and a solid gold pension plan who guarantees this and promises that and fails to show conclusive evidence of knowing her ass from a hole in the ground. While the other one of us is the dumb fuck who paid St. Albans School a fortune so his boy could get screwed 6 ways from Sunday. Do we have a problem? No. We don't have a care in the goddamn world.
Sorry I'm late. Ms. Stavridis.
Miss Krieger,
Thanks for taking over the case. We appreciate your help.
oh, do not mention it. Where is David?
Just outside.
Outside the door is not a good place to be. Let me go and get him.
Oh, no, he's okay where he is.
He is brave. I respect that. I respect that he is delivering his statement in person. At 17, he can make his own decisions. But facing an aggressor in court is not the same thing as him walking by in the hallway. That is why we provide victims with a closed waiting room to prevent traumatic encounters.
Yes, that's, thank you. David will be staying in the hallway.
Forgive me, but is there some...
You really need to spell it out. The traumatic encounter, the one David wants to avoid, isn't out there. It is in here.
What? Oh. Well, we cannot leave him outside by himself. Cedric, we were arriving any minute.
Actually,
How about this? How about this? You go out there. You take David for a stroll, wander up the hallway. I'll step out and I'll walk in the opposite direction. When I'm out of sight, you can turn around and bring him in here.
That's a generous offer, but no.
Oh, you should accept.
I understand that you mean well, Mr. Vides, but you're mistaken.
At least run it by him.
He'll just get agitated.
Well, not if you explain what's going to happen, who he's going to come face to face with by himself in a shitty ass courthouse hallway.
You don't think he realizes who he's going to come face to face with?
Okay, let's just I just want to be sure I am taking about the same thing. Are you saying David is hoping for an encounter with Cedric?
I believe he is.
You believe he... Oh, Jesus. Dorothy, is this some kind of... I mean, is it possible that he's looking for revenge?
What?
Do you have any reason to suspect he's carrying a weapon?
No, God, how can you even think that?
Well, if it were me, it would have crossed my mind.
Another reason to be thankful he isn't you.
Can we? I would just like to get clear on this. You are saying that David wants to see Cedric.
That's what I believe.
To talk to him.
I don't. Maybe. Yes.
He told you this.
Not in so many words, no.
So, what did he say?
We were driving over here, and he'd been quiet all through breakfast. He was looking out of the car window. He said to me in a very low voice, "I'm not going to make a statement." I said, "Fine, that's fine. You don't have to do anything that you're not comfortable with. But if this is about feeling unsafe, you can deliver the statement in writing." And David said, "I don't feel unsafe. I just don't want to say bad things about Robert."
Robert?
And then he looked at me and he said, I don't want you to say bad things about him either. He said, Robert never hurt me. He was good to me. I didn't know how to answer, so I kept my mouth shut. And when we got to the courthouse, we were riding up in the elevator, and I thought David must be getting anxious. I thought the prospect of seeing his father must be affecting him. But when I looked over, he was wearing this expression, and it was we came to the door. I said, I'll just duck in for a second and tell him that I'm going to stand out here with you. And he said, no, you stay in there. I want to be alone. I tried to insist, but he said, Mom, this is what I want. And there was this light in his eyes, and he was excited. I felt sick about leaving him, but I didn't want to anger him, and I couldn't find any excuse for prolonging the discussion. He's not a child. I turned the door handle. I looked back, and David was pulling out his phone. I think he was getting in touch with Sedgwick.
You think?
I know.
How do you know?
I know.
I'm going out there.
Wait.
No fucking way am I going to let my son be in the same room.
Stephen, don't.
No.
God damn it. You are not going out there.
This is my flesh and blood we're talking about.
Okay.
What
think
the
it's
hell is
okay?
wrong?
You both need to
Going out there will make
really-
everything
Just
Please,
around by a
worse.
fucking
out.
pedophile.
If you give
Enough.
an
I said enough.
I'll kill
Like,
that
Enough.
for myself.
Oh my God. You make
Shut up, both of you! Get away from the door.
Well, we need to do something.
I am not disagreeing with you. It is just
Nothing. This is fucked up beyond words. Our son is being manipulated by the man who raped him.
that doesn't mean that you should fly off the handle. So can we please slow down for a minute? One thing at a time. Now, is it possible that Sedgwick is trying to reassert his power over David?
Possible?
If we assume that they have been in communication,
It's not an assumption.
it is an assumption. Do you have proof to back up your claims? When David pulled out his phone, did you see a name on the screen? Did you hear a voice? Apart from his not wanting to say bad things about Sedgwick, do you have any concrete facts? Any statements, any actions indicating that they have been in touch?
No.
And let us say, for the purposes of argument, that they have been in touch. How do we know Sedgwick initiated it?
Wait a second.
And if he did initiate it, how do we know he is taking David's calls or replying to his texts? Why should we suppose that he wants anything to do with David?
Well, I am just spitballing here, but how about the fact that he used him like a sex toy? That he wheedled him into downloading kiddie porn so his own IP address wouldn't be compromised? How about the fact that he has every reason to want David on his side at the hearing? And not just David, his mother too.
You make him sound like an awful clever guy.
Well, he controlled a sensitive, intelligent boy for years. He's still controlling him, and I would say that we take the cleverness for granted.
Then it must have occurred to him that all this control is going to blow up in his face.
What do you, I'm sorry, explain.
Let us say David, influenced by Sedgwick, refuses out of the blue to make a victim's statement.
Which is his right.
Absolutely. Then you, influenced by David, also suddenly refuse to make a statement. Does Sedgwick think that it will not arouse suspicion? Does he think that Judge Kaiser will not ask who he's been talking to? Does he think no one will check his phone records? Because if David's name is on Sedgwick records, that is it. Breach of conditions, obstruction of justice, more counts of sexual interference. Suddenly, clever Sedgwick is not looking at 5 years. He's looking at prison for 10 years.
Are you suggesting that he isn't manipulating David?
I am not suggesting anything. I do not know enough about the situation, and neither do you.
So what do we do?
Inform ourselves
How?
by going out there right now before the hearing starts and confronting David. We need to know why he does not want to say bad things about Cedric. We need to know what context they have had. We need to make David understand that a man who preys on one child is liable to prey on others.
Helen Craval asked him.
I know. I read the file. David is not the first victim to think that he was loved. He will not be the last.
Okay, we'll confront him.
No, not the three of us. You are staying here. Both of you.
He trusts me.
Oh, that does not mean that you will get the truth out of him. You are his mother. You are compassionate. This is going to take, what is the opposite of compassion?
Ruthlessness.
That is what this is going to take.
You know how to be ruthless?
I am a lawyer.
All right. Do it.
Leaving the file folder on the table, Mariko walks out the door.
This is. I mean, I'd step outside, but David and what's her name are.
Stavridis. Yes, we'll just.
Yeah. Well, you look good. I don't mean that as an insult or provocation or whatever. All I mean is you look good. New sweater. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
Stephen notices Mariko's file folder lying on the far side of the table. He pulls it toward him and starts leafing through its contents.
What are you doing?
Wow, they arrested the son of a bitch on October 15th. Can you believe it? 11 months already.
You shouldn't be reading that.
What?
That file.
Which file? Oh, this file. Oh, the criminal file relating to the 2-year history of predatory sexual acts committed against my only son. Let's see. No, you know what? After giving the matter some careful thought, I've decided it's perfectly appropriate for me to look at this file.
It is not appropriate.
Of course, from the fact that reading its contents may cause my heart to break from horror and grief.
You don't have permission to consult those papers.
Well, look at this. Sedgwick's bail conditions. Isn't it nice to know he's still a free man?
Those are privileged documents. Close the folder.
Oh, and here's the report that Miriam Jacobs sent to the police. The report that hit David like a stab in the back, since even after everything, even after trying to kill himself, his number one priority was protecting the twisted motherfucker who abused him.
Close it.
My goodness. Dr. Jacobs certainly does get into the dirty deep.
Close the folder! God damn you!
There, closed. Happy now? And by the way, these papers are going to end up in my hands anyway. As soon as the sentence comes down, as soon as that slime ball is carted off to prison, I am suing his enabler. St. Albans School is going to pay through the nose, and this will be the reason.
Good luck.
Yeah, well, I won't need luck.
Oh, I think you will. Go ahead, sue the school, knock yourself out, but don't be surprised when you lose. St. Albans didn't do anything wrong.
Are you cracked? Robert Sedgwick committed his crimes right under their noses.
They couldn't have guessed. He had them fooled. He had everyone fooled.
No.
He had me fooled. God, when I think of those parent-teacher nights, his classroom was always the highlight of the evening. The way he'd take my hands in both of his.
What are you talking?
The compliments he'd offer up, that smooth voice telling me just how special David was. Oh, how beautiful, how gifted.
Stop.
Oh, not that you'd know any of that. You always found an excuse for avoiding those things, didn't you? But if you'd ever met him, oh, well, poor Stephen, Sedgwick would have wrapped you around his little finger.
Stop, Dorothy.
Oh, he'd have laughed at your lame jokes, complimented you on your pretty Brioni suit, said something nice and not too gay about your son, and within 5 minutes, he'd have you eating out of his.
Stop!
Oh, and David, oh, he loved him.
Please!
David loved him because he was gentle and calm and cultured, because he listened or pretended to, because he was this gorgeous miracle our son had spent his life dreaming of, a man who could look into his eyes and be silent while David talked about the things that mattered to David. Do you know how precious that is, Stephen? It's so precious that in exchange for it, an innocent boy will let himself be soiled and degraded. So precious that when he's cast aside, he'll seek to redeem himself by supplying other boys, or at least pictures of them, to his beloved. So precious that in his despair at losing it, he'll lunge toward death, though death terrifies him. And when his beloved comes back into view, he'll suppress the truth of his own degradation because he'd rather comfort his beloved than protect other innocent boys from going through what he went through. Have you even absorbed a small part of what I just said to you? Have you?
Yeah, I was never the father David needed. Everything he's experienced, the heartache, the humiliation, the emptiness, that can all be traced back to me. I'm to blame.
Glory be, you paid attention.
And I accept that. I am to blame. What about the other part of the story?
There is no other part of the story, no other side.
David was never the son I needed.
That isn't how it works.
Well, you don't get to decide how it works.
What we're talking about isn't a two-way street.
Why? Because you don't want it to be? Look at me. Just look at me. Dead company, shattered marriage, the last embers of my career going dark in a basement office at Windsor Realty. God, I think about the false starts and the defeats and the son I wanted so desperately to be proud of. And the harder I try to sort it out, the more it just gets jumbled up into this immense, sprawling wasteland of shit. I survey the desolation and the thought comes to me, I know it's shabby and despicable, but I can't make it go away. I didn't do this by myself. David had a hand in it.
How? How are you still alive? How is your heart still beating under the weight of so much ugliness?
I don't know.
All those years.
Yeah, all those years.
Thrown away.
Yeah, on a sad little man who never did anything but damage people who mattered the most. Oh God, now don't start feeling sorry for me. It's hardly worth.
You had better get out there. David is sitting on the floor, weeping.
What?
Go. We'll talk later.
Stephen, I never.
Yeah, it's okay.
It is not. Okay.
Yeah, it's not okay. No, but now it's not the time.
I'm going to have to ask Judge Kaiser to postpone the hearing.
What happened?
It was David all along. He was the one contacting Cedric. It's not the other way around.
He admitted it?
Oh, well, not off the bat. But while we were talking, Cedric got out of the elevator. He came up, pointed a finger at David and said, "You are going to stop now. No texts, no calls. You are going to delete me from your phone for both our sakes." David said, "Robert." He opened his arms and Cedric pushed him away. Not roughly, but not kindly either. Just a cold, blank push. It's like you might give a homeless person who was invading your space. Then Cedric disappeared into the courtroom. David started to cry. He admitted, said he had been texting and leaving messages for weeks, begging him to meet, offering to do anything he wanted, promising to keep him out of prison. He went on crying harder and harder until I could not make out the words anymore. His legs crumbled, he sagged to the floor. A crowd gathered and a security guard rushed up. At that point, I thought David's mother ought to be there.
Yeah, you were right. So what now?
Now I go into the courtroom, explain the situation to Judge Kaiser, and submit a motion to postpone the hearing.
Is that necessary?
Well, there was improper contact between the victim and his aggressor. We are going to need to sort out who did what.
We know who did what.
We know for the purposes of this conversation, for the purposes of Robert Cedric's hearing, we are entirely ignorant. He will have to be questioned, and so will David. Their phone records will have to be looked at. This is going to take time.
How much time?
Weeks. Months.
Oh, who'd have thought, huh? David kept his promise. Cedric isn't going to prison.
Not yet. Look, I had better get out the courtroom. Judge Kaiser will be wondering what is going on.
Right. Listen, before you, I just, I was an asshole earlier.
Yes, you were.
It's an unfortunate tendency of mine.
So I have observed.
I'm sorry, Miss Stavridis.
Call me Marika. I accept your apology.
You can tell Dorothy I'll stay out of sight until she and David are gone.
I am not going out there to tell her anything.
I beg your pardon?
You should be out there.
Oh, yeah, no. No, my son wouldn't appreciate seeing me right now.
Regardless, you should be out there.
Yeah, look, this isn't a reflection of your intellect or whatever, but you haven't got a fucking clue.
In my professional capacity, I am compelled to deal with assholes on a daily basis. No, that is not quite right. I am compelled to deal with assholes on an hourly basis. Assholes in criminality are like ice cream and chocolate sundae. Are you with me so far?
I think so.
Good. Now, the vast majority of assholes are, well, let's just say they do not have a helpful attitude when it comes to the justice system. They do not reliably attend their own court dates, let alone anyone else's. It is a very rare asshole who will show up sober and on time at a sentencing hearing for the man who molested his estranged son. The simple fact of showing up does nothing to change the essential nature of him as an asshole. But it is, I will say, unequivocally, it is in its own way a declaration of love.
If I go out there, David he'll scream at me.
Yeah, I suppose he might. For a while. Who knows, maybe forever. Why wouldn't he? You are an asshole. But the fact remains, you are his father. You should act like it.
Stephen walks to the door, grips the handle and turns. Blackout.